This is the Buzz Adams Morning Show podcast. Barstool Talk Daily. Except it's really early in the morning and no booze. For the most part.
Our 95.
Your free quote today, 800-670-5151. Details on example rate at selectquote.com.
Originating in El Paso, for El Paso, the Buzz Adams Morning Show, 95.5 KLAQ.
Joanna has the Hollywood Cheese May coming up here in just a few minutes.
The cheese.
The cheese me.
I've got a list here of the most frequently requested songs that people want played at their funeral.
Freak a Leak by P.D. Pablo.
That's Nika's favorite song. Do you want a song played at your funeral, Buzz?
Yeah, Miss
Does
New
Buzz
Booty by Bubba Sparks, please.
Don't you want your ash? Well, I think one, he's told me he doesn't care what happens to his body afterwards. Or what?
Just save the head and freeze it cryogenically.
Yeah.
That's all you want.
So it can be revived and put on a robot body at a later time.
In the future, young bodies
and old heads will be the new trend.
Well, you're laughing, but who knows what they'll be able to do 1,000 years in the future.
Make sure you tip the guy.
There are some people that are, yeah, right. Hey, keep this one extra frosty, buddy.
My dad wants his ashes put into golf balls and then hit into the ocean.
Okay. But what if you just spread his ashes in the ocean? He wouldn't rock with that? He'd probably haunt you, huh?
No, he wants them in golf balls.
Yeah, he'll haunt my golf game.
Who's gonna hit him into the ocean? I'm not.
I guess he
sure.
wants us to do it, but we're not good golfers. So.
What if you top it and then you got to walk out like you see people do sometimes on the golf course?
Where it bounces just a little bit.
Like, they go and get it and just put it back on the tee.
Oh.
You're going to take a breakfast stroke on your golf ball.
Here are a few calls. Phones have been pretty active here today so far.
How's it going, guys? I'm just calling to back myself up. I just heard the podcast on Tuesday where everybody ganged up on ODG. And one guy said cancel ODG and Padilla. Well, I just want to let you know I'm pro-Israel, as most conservatives are. And to burst the mind of the people in El Paso, I'm just going to burst their mind real quick. The majority of pro-Palestine people are liberals that vote for Kamala. So pro-Palestine people, the majority are liberals. Conservatives, pro-Israel. So, yeah, mind blown, El Paso. So, yeah, I'm pro-Israel.
It's not blown. Minds are not blown here.
What do you think Padilla's beef against El Paso is?
I don't know. But El Paso's better wherever.
Anytime they talk about it on Fox News, they always make sure to point out that it's a Democratic-run city.
Oh.
So I guess that automatically we're a blue spot along with Houston, Dallas, and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a stain on Texas.
I think you could be a little more specific, though. You can say, I'm pro innocent people not being killed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Who is?
I don't want to see anybody on the opposite side of that.
I'm pro people not being kidnapped and tortured and murdered.
I think everyone is.
I don't think you have to pick one side or the other here. You can pick and say, I am on the side that is not in favor of killing people. Mm-hmm. And that applies to Hamas, and it could also apply to this extreme right movement in Israel that really does. I mean, I don't think... If there are some people in Israel, if they had their way, they would eradicate everybody in Gaza.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that. So it's not, well, what's the most conservative you could be or what's the most pro-Palestinian you could be? You can be for people. Yeah. That's an option that's on the table, everybody.
Unfortunately, though, I think that's just a great ideal to have. I think when it comes to practice, you got to support either giving Israel the ability to fight its enemies or pressuring Israel to stop what it's doing. It's like, what are you going to do?
What's up, Mo Show? It's ODG.
Nice. Oh, there you go.
Podcast publish alert. Alert.
Oh,
there's no buzz on demand or no after buzz. I'm guessing Nico wasn't there or Joanna is being a spiteful, sassy bee.
Specifically for you. Yeah.
Did you, Jeff? You just forgot.
I forgot that Nico wasn't
Nico.
here. Yeah. When he's not here, it's usually my job.
I play these because it's also good promotion for the Buzz on Demand and the
Yeah.
After Buzz and all the other podcasts. When you hear somebody so upset that we screwed up, and the After Buzz from Tuesday's not up.
It's up now.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Jojo
listen.
Bar. Joanna. While waiting, I was listening to Piers Morgan Uncensored. He had a panel of people on both sides talking about Biden pardoning Hunter. Very interesting. Y'all like it. Then Piers played a clip of Stephen Colbert saying Nostradumaz. He was calling some dude Nostradumaz. Colbert stole your bit, Buzz. Sue him. Nostradamus is yours.
Not a cop.
Sue him, Buzz.
Okay, so he's talking about the character Nostradamus, which is, I mean, it's an original character, but the premise of the deal is basically a setup that's been done for a long time. Carson made it really popular, but I don't even think he was the first person to do it, predict what's inside the envelopes. But the name Nostradamus did not exist, in my knowledge, until I coined that term long before
Stephen Colbert.
or anybody else.
Derek in our email sent us an email of a picture of what kind of funeral you should have, Buzz. Mm-hmm. And it's just a Viking funeral.
That'd be awesome.
Where they put my body
And
on
a
a
long
raft
ship,
with
yeah.
a bunch of flammable material and then shoot an arrow through the air and light it on fire.
Would you like that?
That'd be majestic.
But it would have to be a scout at the lake. It couldn't be just anywhere.
As long as my head is still at the cryogenic freezing laboratory.
And this is the renovated Ascarate, of course. So
They renovated Ascarate?
gonna.
Oh, they're gonna.
So I'm excited.
Songs people want played at their funeral is a topic I want to broach here just for a second. 2,000 people recently were surveyed on all kinds of things. One of them is, have you thought about what song you'd like to have played at your funeral?
Somebody in our app chat says Seasons of the Sun by Terry Jacks.
Jacks.
Cowboy
we had
John.
joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the hills that we climbed were something.
That's a sad song. Is he dying in that song? Have you heard
Maybe.
that song?
Or his friend
Sounded
is.
familiar.
Somebody's dying. We
Or
had
Michelle?
joy. Yeah.
Is Michelle dying?
It sounds like a good funeral song then.
I've already told my nephews I want Helena from My Chemical Romance.
Of course.
And I want them to dress up like in the music video.
You know what? I'll make sure Gerard Way comes to your
Thank
funeral.
you.
Yeah.
Nico.
I'm gonna go with the last song they played in The Office. Y'all remember that one?
No.
The one that Creed sings.
Aw.
The
He's like,
band Creed?
No, like
No.
Creed Pratt. He talks about I saw a friend today. It had been a while. You guys don't remember that song? It's good.
No. But
I'm between that.
I'll take your word for it.
Dun, 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 like that one.
What, like the circus march?
Yeah, that one. That would be better.
Or a Benny Hill?
I will make sure to play the Wreck of the Ella Fitzgerald at Buzzes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hymns, and that's, in my family and just the way I grew up, the song played at the funeral was always a hymn, Amazing Grace or In the Sweet By and By or something like that. So there's a lot of that.
What's the one that Lenny Kravitz sings, I Want to Get Away?
Fly away.
Yeah, Fly Away.
Yeah.
That's mine.
That's a good one.
So let me tell you some of the things that got mentioned here. Imagine by John Lennon. Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. One More Light by Linkin Park.
I kind of want to bring up a clip of each of these.
Yeah, kind of. I wish you had them ready, Buzz.
I remember when I worked late at night at a rock station called the Cat in Oklahoma City, I would get a lot of requests, and people would say, my mom just passed away.
Oh.
Will you play Rain in Blood by Slayer for me?
And were you like, hell yeah, we'll play some Slayer for her?
My Way by Frank Sinatra gets mentioned a lot, and so does Free Bird by Leonard Skinner.
Ah, yeah.
Well, I barely got to this one.
Enough people mention the Star Wars theme that it's in the top 5. And Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper.
Aw.
Okay, well, I got one. I got one song.
Yeah. Are you going to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I know that song. Yeah, that's a good one.
Here is the number one most common answer for the song you want played at your funeral. Wait, here's a montage, all right?
Another one bites the dust. You are so beautiful.
Joe Cocker, You Are So Beautiful. Imagine by John Lennon.
Yes, it was my way.
Nice.
Doctor, ain't there nothing I can take a sip.
Oh, yeah.
Put the lime in the
Put the
coconut?
lime in the coconut?
Are you the lime?
Or the coconut?
What about 5,000 Candles in the Wind by Mouse Rat? That'd be
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
For Little Sebastian.
Bye, bye, little Sebastian.
And then I just want them to say, Little Alberto.
Joanna's Hollywood cheese. Joanna's Hollywood cheese.
Joanna, tell us more.
Here is Joanna Barba with today's Hollywood Cheesemay, our entertainment report. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning. Get that under control. I think it's you, buddy.
Are you running the board hot?
No, I just think I'm cranking my
Your
headphones
headphones are
louder,
too loud.
a little louder every day. Every day.
Every day they go just up
Yeah.
a bit.
A butt.
They just go
They
up
just
a
go
butt.
up a butt, you know?
Anyways, and what comes as absolutely no surprise to anyone, another streaming service has decided to come down hard on password sharing. Max, formerly HBO Max, has had enough of your generous money-saving ways and wants to make your budget a little bit more difficult to balance. There's no official timeline on when the restrictions will start or what form they might take, but Warner Brothers Discovery's CEO said the earliest messaging will come next week. J.B. Perrette, CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, spoke at an event and said that certain customers will begin receiving some, quote, very early gentle messaging. Although Perrette didn't specify the methodology that they would be using, he did add that they'll find a way to add a member starting in the first quarter. Netflix was the first streaming service to limit what users could do with their accounts, and Disney and Hulu soon followed. If you're currently sharing your password with your friends and family, you're probably in the clear for now. From how Perrette phrased his statement, you probably have a few months before Max begins searching in earnest for shared accounts. Did you guys figure that out, by the way? I remember that was a hot topic for both of you.
Yeah,
And Lisa somehow, because she's leeching off of it.
I just took my cousin's profile off.
Okay, so somebody
Someone
told
was
me
kicked off
something
the island.
amazing.
Buzz is paying for it, but it's registered under my name.
So, you know, when I go visit my mom,
Yes.
I think she has Netflix, but that's really the only streaming thing she has.
Okay.
Somebody told me I can take my device, whether my phone or my iPad, open up my account to Apple TV Plus or Max or whatever, sign in from that, and then put it on the TV. Now, they're lying, right? You can't do that.
He has. Who told you this? Who told you this lie?
Somebody was telling me this, that you could
Was it you?
get it on your phone and then
And cast it
onto your
TV.
It's called casting.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I mean, if you ever get pissed off at me for saying, well, what was it like then, Buzz, when you grew up in 1921?
You
this
mean
is the
all
reason.
this time I could be watching all of my shows
There's
just by
times where I'll have something on
how?
my phone,
It sounds like magic.
and there is.
Do you want
what
me
is
to
this
do it?
wizardry?
Do you want me
Wait.
to do it here?
There's times.
Just listen real quick. This is my mind. blown.
There's some TV here that you could do it on because every time I try to watch something, it's like, do you want to cast it onto? And then it'll tell me the TV, and I'm all like, hell no, I don't want everyone to see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Actually, one
Porn.
time I was, it was my first time I lived with a roommate, and she was the owner of this house. And long story short, 3 a.m., tried to cast something on my TV, cast it in her room, and I just hear it blast on her room in the
Were
middle
you
of the
watching
night.
something dirty?
No, unfortunately not. It was just like but it was just like imagine being woken up at 3 a.m.
Now
You cast
you've
it at
got-
the wrong TV.
Yes.
Now you've got
That's
me
the problem.
nervous. What if I do that and then
Buzz is on Pornhub, and it's
looking
like,
at
do you
it.
want to cast this onto the TV?
Please don't cast
Your
stuff
mom
like
in the
that.
back. Oh, my.
Hi, Buzz.
Yes, that is a thing, Buzz. It is real.
can somebody show me how to do it?
Yeah, it's easy. I'll show you.
Look, Alberto volunteers.
Yeah,
Yes.
good-
Oh, thank
Alberto,
God.
luck. Yeah, thank
You're
God.
Let us
You're
know
gonna
we
have to-
didn't jump to it.
You're gonna have to drive to Oklahoma so
Okay.
help me do this.
Road trip. Bob Dylan has offered his thoughts on the upcoming film A Complete Unknown, which hits theaters this Christmas. A Complete Unknown was directed by James Mangold, whose credits also include Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic. Taking to Twitter to express his excitement for the biopic and Oscar-nominated actor Timothée Chalamet's starring role, he wrote, quote, "There's a movie about me opening soon. Timothée Chalamet is starring in the lead. Timmy's a brilliant actor, so I'm sure he's going to be completely believable as me, or a younger me, or some other me." The film's taken from Elijah Wald's Dylan Goes Electric, a book that came out in 2015. It's a fantastic retelling of events from the early 60s that led up to the fiasco at Newport. After you've seen the movie, read the book.
Do you know what the fiasco at Newport
No, I was just
was?
about to ask. What is that?
So that was an ask.
So Bob Dylan was a folk artist, and he was beloved.
Okay.
And at the Newport Folk Festival, he brought out an electric guitar and started playing, something a little more rock,
Ooh.
and was booed.
Oh,
And
no.
people called
Really?
him Judas.
Really? Oh, my God.
Like the
Like a-
biggest Dylan fans were so offended that he dare play an electric guitar and sing rock songs. By the way, Complete Unknown describes most of Bob Dylan's lyrics. I don't know.
Please do your Bob Dylan for me. Last year, it was revealed that Dylan personally offered Mangold notes for the project, which were then passed to the notoriously diligent Chalamet as he worked to authentically portray Dylan on screen, and he's apparently really singing in the movie. A Complete Unknown also stars Edward Norton as Pete Seeger, Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash, Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez, Elle Fanning as Sylvie Russo, and Nick Offerman as Alan Lomax.
Joan Baez, did she date Dylan?
He wrote at least 3 songs about her.
So he's into Latinas.
Joan Baez?
Bob Dylan.
I see. Okay. James Gunn has given a new update on his upcoming Superman, and he's just as enthusiastic as ever about his Clark Kent. David Cornsweet takes on the role for the new movie, and Gunn says that he thinks the actor is going to seriously impress audiences. Talking to The Hollywood Reporter, Gunn said, quote, "Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, David Cornsweet is going to freak everyone out with how great he is. He is one of the best actors I've ever worked with, and he can do everything. The man is incredible."
Wow, that's high praise.
You'd almost call him super.
We've only had a brief shot of Cornsweet as in character so far, thanks to an early image of Clark Kent suiting up. However, Gunn has shared that the Superman trailer is ready to go, so we may get a better idea of what to expect very soon. In the interview, Gunn also revealed that test screenings have begun for Superman as well. Superman marks the first movie of Gunn and his co-CEO Peter Safran's rebooted DCU. British actor Papa Essiedu, best known for his roles in I May Destroy You and Black Mirror, is reportedly in talks to play Professor Severus Snape in HBO's upcoming Harry Potter television series.
What did he play on Black Mirror?
I can't remember what episode he was in.
Oh.
What's his name again?
Papa Essiedu. It's Papa with 3 A's. Paapa.
Oh, wow.
Snape was famously played by the late Alan Rickman in the Harry Potter film franchise. SC2's involvement is reflective of HBO's previously stated commitment of putting together an inclusive, diverse cast. SC2 is the second actor attached...
Except no muggles.
No muggles.
Don't use the M word, bro.
He is the second known actor attached to the TV series. Mark Rylance is reportedly in talks to star as Headmaster Albus Dumbledore. The Harry Potter TV series is described as a faithful adaptation of the book franchise, featuring an entirely new cast, and each season will be tied to a specific book in the series, meaning the series will run 7 seasons. Meanwhile, despite publicly feuding with cast members of the film franchise over her anti-trans views, Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling is very involved in the developing of the television series. And finally, the internet would like to buy a few vowels to describe Vanna White's son. The longtime Wheel of Fortune co-host enlisted the help of her son, Nico Santo Pietro, while recently showing off her skills in the kitchen in an Instagram video. Nico was, of course, the star of the show as he effortlessly moved through the recipe, peeling and grating ginger and playfully putting on sunglasses along his mom as he showed off his fine knife skills and chopping onions. And while Vanna's eyes were on the food, her followers were focused on Chef Nico. Fans, of course, asked if he was single, and one of the top comments said, "My next 3 letters are H-O-T." Vanna was married to George Santo Pietro, a restaurateur from 1990 to 2002. And while she has kept her children mainly out of the spotlight, Nico isn't shy about showing off his cooking skills on his personal social media accounts, as well as his business tips. Look at that cutie. Yes, chef.
Joanna would hit it.
Yeah. Yes. With your entertainment news, I'm Joanna Barnes.
You all right? You with us still?
I was looking. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
I did a little bit of Cyber Monday shopping.
Nice.
Okay.
So I've ticked you off my list.
Finally got
thank you.
that fleshlight you've been eyeing.
No.
Yes, the automated one.
Were the headphones on sale?
Not really. It was Cyber Monday, and it didn't seem like those were something that was really discount. But
Wait, did you get
you're
those?
Worth
Or?
it, Joanna.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm
Yes.
glad you got them
I'm
still.
going to take the
These are
new. I'm going to get the
falling
new
off.
ones, and I'm going to give you my. No, I'm just kidding.
Imagine. They're all cracked.
Save money and time and money this holiday season with the new ShopBot 9000.
I am the ShopBot 9000.
Let the AI-powered ShopBot do your shopping for you. Here's my list, ShopBot, so you can focus on what's really important. Sitting on the couch, napping. What's this?
Grandma vaporized.
Vaporized?
Money saved on shopping.
Must be some kind of tech joke. But wait, there's more. The ShopBot 9000 even wraps your gifts and places them under the tree.
Children packaged.
Okay, the ShopBot even cleans up after itself, leaving your house spotless.
Non-essential life form terminated.
Mr. Tabby Paws?
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, so it's not perfect, but it is saving you money.
Yeah, and I don't have to go to the mall.
This holiday season, decide what's important.
Thanks, ShopBot.
And get the ShopBot 9000.
I'm here to kick ass and chew gum.
Responsible for saving you money, not responsible for property damage or emotional distress. Also cats.
Get your ShopBot today.
Artist interviews, new music discoveries, celebrating artists' birthdays, commemorating releases.
Champion of all things rock.
.95.5 KLAQ and Separate Ways cover there with Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm and Chris Daughtry from
American Idol.
Well, from American Idol.
Yeah,
I guess.
sorry.
We had a few calls about people, our topic about what song would you like played at your funeral. We found out that a lot of people want to have Another One Bites the Dust by Queen to play at their funeral.
Some other people have some more non-conventional choices.
For my funeral, I want them to play Chumbawamba on repeat for 1 hour nonstop. And whoever leaves the funeral doesn't get any of my money.
I guess that your funeral would be one time that you got knocked down that you won't be getting up again, though.
You don't know that?
Can you imagine everybody crying at the end, and it's not because they're sad, but just because they had to listen?
Make it stop.
Chumbawamba.
Other people are calling in. I did not mean for things to take this morbid a turn, but they have.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Good morning. I say, you guys are talking about that, what would happen to your body after you die. I've always told my wife and kids I want to be planted. Like, I don't know if you cremate them and then put a seed in it and plant me in the backyard so I could be a tree or something. But that's what I want. I want to come back to Earth as a tree or something in the backyard of my house. Love the show. Have a good day.
Nice.
That's creative.
I have seen kits.
They
that
have
you can
like
purchase.
services.
Well, they got services, but they also got a DIY on Etsy.
A DIY?
Wait, to turn you into a plant?
Yes.
A tree.
Mm-hmm.
If you smoke
I'd like
enough.
to be a Venus flytrap. 2 callers have said they'd like to play Kansas Dust in the Wind, or Dust in the Wind.
All right.
Nice.
Bet you that one's been played at funerals before.
2 callers said that.
We went to a funeral, one of our friends a couple of years ago, and
Who went?
you and I.
Oh, I was like wondering.
Comedian Patrick Candelaria.
Nick goes like, you don't have other friends.
Do you remember the song? Do you remember the song that was played at Patrick's funeral?
The one at the end?
It was another comic who I didn't know, but he did a version of "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" from Monty
That
Python.
was one of the best things I think I've seen at a funeral. Like,
And it was live?
no,
the guy had recorded a video. He couldn't be there, but he had recorded something to be played, and that was just
How
moving.
touching.
yeah. Life's a piece of when you look at it.
yeah.
Life's a life and death's a joke. It's true.
I like when you you know that it would go perfectly with the person.
With the person, because Patrick was a funny guy and he always loved looking on the bright side of life.
That's one of those things where you say, "Oh, he definitely would have loved that. Would have loved that."
I want to be taxidermied, but they don't let
Into
a chair. So and you can
I'm
sit
gonna
on
make
me.
you into a
I don't
lampshade,
think
honey.
I don't think that's called taxidermy.
Like this.
Taxidermy is where they mount you in a lifelike pose. You could donate your body.
No, you
to
could
the-
taxidermy.
You could do the Burt Reynolds.
I don't think turning your flesh into leather for a chair is called taxidermy.
I'm not saying leather for a chair, but like
I'm gonna turn you into a rug.
position me.
Oh,
yeah.
just put you like a chair. Like
Like a
your
chair.
arms would be the arms and
Yeah,
your
I'm
legs
not
would
saying
be the
like harvest my
You're not
skin
gonna
for
put him
leather.
into like a whole chair.
Yeah,
He's
just
the
like
chair.
You could stuff me if you wanted.
And girls will sit on it.
Yeah, sit on it.
Oh my God.
Make your face the seat.
He always wanted to go out this way.
That's what he wanted.
In life and in death.
I guess cast members on Saturday Night Live don't get paid that much, and I'm sure it varies. You know, when you're on there in the first season.
I think everybody, if you're not a featured, wait, who's the featured players? Those are the
new ones.
The new ones. If you're a featured player, I think all featured players make those same.
Right. Well, those stars on Saturday Night Live don't get paid as much as you might think. They asked cast members, past and current, what they spent their first paycheck from SNL on. And it's not like a brand new sports car or anything. So we're going to hear, starting with Pete Davidson, then James Austin Johnson, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. People forget Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on. It was like the drought years for Saturday Night Live. Sarah Silverman, Sarah Sherman, Sherry O'Terry, Seth Meyers, Bowen Yang, Rachel Dratch, and Jason Sudeikis. So let's start with Pete.
My biggest indulgence after my first SNL paycheck. Do you guys know what they pay us? It's like $3,000 an episode. I think I got dinner.
We bought the most uncomfortable West Elm couch. It's like made of bricks.
I bought a pair of shoes that were out of my budget. They were $75.
That was Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Now, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is rich because of Seinfeld.
And an heiress. She's like an heiress.
But she's also an heiress to the Louis-Dreyfus fortune. How did they cut her off? What was going on?
Sometimes you want to get it on your own, maybe.
Here's something interesting. Laurie Metcalf was a Saturday Night Live cast member briefly.
Oh, really?
She was hired but never appeared in a single episode.
That's weird.
I bought a cashmere sweater. It
That's Sarah Silverman.
was $300.
$300. Next is Sarah Sherman. She's relatively new on the show.
Mattress, a nice mattress. A couch. I never remember a designer coming over and we were going to get rid of that couch. I said, oh no, not today, Satan. The couch is staying. You're going.
That was Sherry O'Terry. This is Seth Meyers.
Went to like a Crate and Barrel and I got like a really big couch, and then I went to a Best Buy and I got a really big TV.
That's Seth Meyers.
Sacks. You know what's weird though is how many people didn't have couches. Like, right?
Yeah.
Several of these people said that they bought couches with their first paycheck.
What's this? You get the apartment.
That's what I mean. I assume in New York City the rent is so expensive that's what you pay
you
for.
just get the apartment first, and then you worry about furnishing it
Everything
later
else.
in drips and drabs.
Big TV.
Going to Saks, buying a pair of Gucci shoes.
That's
Probably getting an apartment. I mean, that's so boring, but that's the real thing.
I mean, you don't make enough money to make big purchases, so I think New York rent was probably the biggest purchase I made after writing my first year on SNL.
That's Jason Sudeikis there at the end, a.k.a. Ted Lasso.
Nice.
3,000 an episode and 20 episodes. That's $60,000 a year in New York.
Yeah, that's not enough to get by.
No.
Yeah.
I think my cousin's rent is like $3,000 a month, and he lives there.
He lives in New York?
Yeah.
What borough?
I think he lives in Manhattan.
Oh.
But he's...
I mean, anywhere.
It's expensive, yeah.
I mean, even out on Staten Island, it's still expensive compared to El Paso. So TMZ is reporting what Christmas is going to be like for P. Diddy in jail.
Not Mary?
Well, he could have a freak off, but he'd have to get all of the other inmates to agree to it.
I don't think it's going to be how he likes it.
Dancer, Prancer.
So apparently they're going to have some games to play for the inmates and some kind of special Christmas meal.
Nice.
They're going to have a spades tournament, dominoes competition. Also,
do you know how to play dominoes?
I know how to play chicken foot dominoes. Some people might know it as Mexican train, but
whoa. Not a Pornhub category.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and a soccer competition, but it is unclear if P. Diddy will participate in any of those. And they got their hands on the prison menu. TMZ did. Cornish hen, macaroni and cheese, cranberry sauce, dinner rolls, and a holiday dessert for lunch. And then it's back to normal. So that's going to be Diddy's
dinner.
Well, just Christmas in jail plans. This Saturday night, it's the first ever Christmas special with R. Kelly and P. Diddy.
I wish for Christmas that the family's okay. I know you can feel me. I wish for Christmas that the whole world is safe. I know you can hear me. My wish for Christmas that love conquers hate. Please make me better. This is my Christmas wish for the holiday. I wish I wasn't the way I am.
Don't miss an incarcerated Christmas this Saturday night on Court TV.
I have heard a new term. Werewolf babies are being observed.
I know what this is.
Werewolf babies?
How do you know?
So I got my eye and everything. I be checking out the werewolf babies.
Werewolf babies.
The Haktua coin. I got,
Haktua coin.
You want to know what werewolf babies are?
I do.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain it to you.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Who knew we'd have to deal with werewolf babies in 2024 on top of everything else? All right. Let's take a quick pause. We'll find out more about the werewolf baby phenomenon coming up right after this.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday.
Factor about Sky Rizzy, SkyRizzy.com, or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZY to learn more.
Oh, guess who this is? Buzz Adams and the KLAQ Morning Show.
You must be the greatest radio show host ever.
Buzz is back.
I promised I would tell you about the phenomenon of werewolf babies. They're seeing a spike in werewolf babies
on the full moon.
I don't think this one, the moon doesn't have anything.
Doesn't play.
Doesn't play into it. Can't stop them with a silver bullet.
No.
But I'll give you the details coming up in a few minutes. Nico said that he has an Am I the A-hole that he would like to get our feedback on.
I do.
You were very excited for it.
Let me, before we get to that, though, tell you about Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are playing Monday Night Football this week, and they're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, and there is rekindled hope in the hearts of Cowboy fans after 2 consecutive wins, including their first home win. Cowboys are going to be back at home at AT&T Stadium. Monday Night Football. Our broadcast starts with the pregame show. Brad Sham and Babe Bloffenberg are on the pregame show starting at 5 o'clock this Monday. Dallas Cowboys football on the Q is brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. 915 Tours and Border City Ale House, the home of the 600 ESPN El Paso Monday Night Football watch parties. I got to go back and find, we got a call from one of our Cowboy Flyaway winners.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about the
experience?
Yeah, the
Oh,
experience,
cool.
and the 915 tours and everything else, and the parties and the special tailgate with current and former Cowboy stars. They really love the trip. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a nice message about that. And it's kind of nice when, somebody wins something, and then they call and give us a report on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessary, but it's appreciated for sure. You ready for Am I the A-hole?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes these are sent in. If you want to send them to it, you can email buzz@klaq.com, Nico at klaq.com. You can leave them on the neckline. That number is 844-805-NECK, 844-805-6325. And sometimes we just get them from online too.
Mm-hmm.
So
we just freeball it.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. You have a scenario for us.
I do. All right. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us? All right. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us?
Based on that alone, I think I'm probably leaning toward no. I mean, if you had a deal with your roommate and that was the deal.
Now they want to bring someone else in.
You want to bring somebody else in. I mean,
so I think what's going to be good to know is who has had roommates before. And
I've had freeloaders living in my house before. I never got paid. They didn't pay part of the. Well, I'm not just talking about Nico. I'm talking about all the miscreants that have lived at my house through the years.
I'm glad I'm not being singled out.
You shouldn't feel singled out. There have been a lot of freeloaders over at my house.
Not like I helped at all while I was there. He's scowling. Okay. I'm a 19-year-old female, and found Buzz's out. Alberto, roommates?
Yeah, I've had roommates before.
Joanna, besides your mom
Nephews.
or sister? Or nephews?
No, I've never had a roommate.
I don't know. If you're like, well, we'll split the rent, and here's our, this is, whatever your arrangement is, and then all of a sudden it's like, there's going to be somebody else living here too. Ought to be something you have a say in, I think.
I'm 19 years old. I'm a female. I live with my roommate. Let's call her Ashley, and she's 20. And we live in a small 2-bedroom apartment. We've been friends since high school and decided to split the rent when we went to college. Things were fine at first, but then she started dating Jake, who's 22. At first, Jake was over just a couple of nights a week, which I didn't mind. But over the past few months, he's basically moved in, eating our food, using our stuff, and not contributing a single dime to rent or bills. I finally had enough, and I told Ashley that Jake either needed to start paying his share or stop living there. She apologized and said she'd talk to him, and I thought that was the end of it. But fast forward to last week. I was getting ready to head out when Jake cornered me in the kitchen. He told me he wanted to test me to see if I would be a good person to live with full time. I was confused and asked what he meant. He said, well, if I wanted him to pay rent, I had to prove I was roommate material by showing I could handle sharing things like the space with him. So
that is some major league gaslighting there. I need you to prove that you're worthy of me if I'm going to pay rent.
He then gave me a list of rules he'd want me to follow if he did officially move in. I think
it's already a headache, right? It's already turning into
You're not even my roommate yet. All right, so here's his list of things. Tell me if any of them sound a little unreasonable. Things like doing my share of the cooking, even though I already make my own meals. I wouldn't be able to bring any guys over. I'm single, but why is that relevant to him?
No, that's not his call.
And I would have to be respectful of his gaming time by keeping the Wi-Fi free during his streams.
Sometimes you don't even feel real.
What are they got a dial up? You got to keep the Wi-Fi free. What are they talking about?
It's like when a lot of people are using the Wi-Fi and you're trying to game, you'll start lagging.
Now, this is very passive aggressive on the part of the boyfriend, I feel like. He's putting her on the spot. Well, maybe I don't want you as a roommate.
Well, there's some things we're not considering.
Well, they're probably sharing a bed together. They probably share a room together. The boyfriend and the girlfriend, that is, right?
Right. I laughed in his face.
Good for you, sister.
And I told him there was no way he was moving in. Well, he got pissed and told Ashley that I was being unreasonable. And she confronted me and said Jake was just testing the waters and that I should have been more open to the idea. She accused me of being jealous because I'm single and suggested I was trying to sabotage their relationship.
You're just jealous that you don't have anybody that wants
Now
to
she's
live with
saying
you.
if I can't be supportive, then maybe she should get a new roommate, one who respects her relationship. I think this is completely insane, but Ashley and a couple of her friends are siding with Jake, and they're saying I'm being selfish and controlling. Am I the a-hole for refusing to move in after this ridiculous test?
I need to know a few things, like did Ashley occupy the place prior, or did they go in together?
Well, let's say they just have to lease.
Did they sign any agreement?
They have a lease. Let's just say these two girls have a lease together.
They're probably, it's an apartment. They're probably renting.
And they have a lease probably.
Okay.
But so there's the opposite side of things is saying, well, if this is this girl's boyfriend and she does want to live with him, maybe you would need to, as the roommate, think about, is he be okay?
Right.
Maybe you feel like it's already cramped enough. What'd they say it was, a 2-bedroom?
2-bedroom.
Yeah.
She said small 2-bedroom, yeah.
Yeah, I got to keep the Wi-Fi free for your gaming?
Yeah, the rules.
It's a very important
He shot a hole in the bottom of his own boat there, if you ask me.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, just, here's what I'm going to need you to do.
Yeah, the cooking and the no boys over, like, these rules are like, what are you talking about? I think you would probably have to consider, I don't know.
Derek says, am I the a-hole dude is a slick bastard. He'll be nailing both of them soon.
Oh,
Derek.
Derek.
You might not be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I've never had a roommate where they wanted to. Whoa. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I moved out when Buzz got his girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm trying to think about, like.
Well, you're pushed out.
Okay.
I would, not by me.
Well, it sounds like she feels like maybe she's going to be pushed out.
This girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, anything you vote on is 2-1. They got a 2-1 majority. Yeah. That's a super majority, in fact.
Yeah. But I mean, if you are you really in the right to tell a girl, like, no, you can't live with your boyfriend? I guess you are, right?
Well, she's your roommate. Yes.
Yeah. And you're only 20.
Dude,
19.
It's over. This is like, it seems so cut and
Do we
dry.
know if both of their names are on the lease?
Well, but for all intents and purposes, yes.
Let's say they're both on the lease.
Yeah.
You have the right to say,
no, I don't want.
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
But does she have a right to say, well, I want my boyfriend to live here?
Yeah, maybe the question asker needs to find another roommate.
Maybe find another. That might be this. Yeah.
But why should she move when she's not the one's changing the conditions?
Also, what are the chances that this 20-year-old girl is going to be broken up with this guy
Oh,
in
for
what-
sure, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is not the person she's going to end up spending the rest of her life with.
Then that
probably.
becomes another
And
issue
then
when
that's
they
another
break
thing.
up.
Also, what kind of dramas they're going to be?
Right.
Whose side are you going to take? What's going to happen with all these other peripheral friends once the breakup happens, as it inevitably does?
You're not being respectful of my relationship.
The thing is, she's so young. Like that, you need to leave her alone. Let her go through this.
Here's another. Cappy
do
just
it. She
walked in.
must go
Cappy
through it.
had roommates, I know for a fact. His brother. They used to live together.
Oh, yeah? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, Lou Romano lived with me.
No, yeah.
Did you have any roommate issues?
With Lou? Nah, he was.
What about with your
low
brother?
maintenance. No, it was fine. I mean, I've had roommates in college. I essentially, roomed with
In dorms
two or
and
three.
apartments
Yeah,
and
in
stuff,
dorms and
yeah.
apartments with different people.
Did you
So
ever have to deal with a roommate bringing over their girlfriend or significant other all the time?
I will say that had happened over the years, yes. And it was never a problem.
It was never a problem for you.
Never a problem.
Yeah, but what if they just said, "Hey, I want my girlfriend to also start living here"?
Let me think about that. Well, as long as they pay part of the rent, I'd be okay with that.
What if the girl was like, Steve, I need you to stay off the internet certain times while I stream?
What if that girlfriend came with like a list of rules and
Yeah.
was all like, you need to bring me.
We would have to have a
Fast
very,
internet.
very serious conversation in
And
that
then
regard.
they start telling you, like, I like a lot of fresh fruit around the house. Chocolate chips in my pancakes, write that down.
Then you know what? Then in that case, here's the fridge. Go ahead and you can replenish, and hopefully it'll all still be there by the time you get home every day. Go from there. That's exactly.
Let's get back to each roommate takes turns doing the cooking. I never would have even
No,
occurred
that's not
to
what
me
she
to
said.
ever.
No, that's not what
She
she
said. The boyfriend said you need to do your share of the cooking,
And she said, I cook my own meals.
Yeah.
So she didn't know why he was asking this.
right.
She was like, I cook my own
He's
meals.
like, no, I
It
got
should be
two
an every
girls.
man for them, every man or woman for themselves when it comes to feeding yourself. Because what are the chances you're going to want to eat exactly the same thing at the same time? As a roommate.
Yeah, good point. Although I cooked for you a bunch.
I feel like this topic is coming up a lot. and
Nico
you
wants
guys are
me to
bringing up old
acknowledge that
feelings.
he cooked a handful of
It was
times.
not a handful of times.
Let me say this
I
about.
remember
let me say
Nico
this about.
posting a lot of
Handful of
videos where he
time.
was making dinner.
Also, would you not acknowledge that you tend to have a memory lapse of things and that you kind of discount things the longer you go without thinking about
Because
them?
once the girlfriend moved in,
Nope.
all the
Nope.
memories of you were
Yeah,
washed
you
away.
think you have a good memory of everything?
I can remember occasionally you would cook something and I would get to have some of. I had a chef that lived with me for a while and she didn't cook for me.
Yeah.
Did you ever ask?
Well, I'd get, like, if she catered something, I'd get the
Wow, no.
leftovers, but it would be something like the same dish
No, because
left
I would,
over from a catered
what would
event. I
happen
would
was
be eating on it for 2 months.
No, see, this is what's so frustrating about you is because you do have this weird memory lapse. I would cook something for myself, and Buzz would go, "You're not going to make any for me? I don't get anything." And so that I started to just make double portions of everything. If I was cooking for myself, Buzz goes, "Joanna, tell everybody how often every day in the morning when I'm eating, if Buzz asks it for a bite
You
of my
took
sandwich."
a lot of his food the other day. Yeah. I see it every day.
Every single day, he asked for a bite of.
It's called a food tax.
He
you
takes
bring
a
food
bite
in
of
here,
my
I
sandwich.
get 10% of it.
But
Here's the other
you're
question I
taking
have.
like actual bites from the food. Like you don't say, "Can you give me a little piece?" You just go, "Mine," and then chomp.
Yeah.
Nico, did Buzz ever say to you anything along the lines of, you know what, Nico, you're a really good cook. Here, let me give you some extra money for some food
Nope.
because
never gave me
you know what?
never gave me cash for groceries.
No.
Never.
Okay, he is overestimating the amount of groceries he ever bought and the amount
love
of
how
cooking
this
he
has
ever did.
spiraled
It
into
was
something
it
else.
was an occasional
See,
and a
I
fairly
don't think
rare
you
thing.
remember. You don't even remember how long I've worked on the station.
You got
Tell me
a
what
much
year. Tell me
better-
what year I started here.
I don't know, like 2016.
Okay, well that's because we've talked about
Is
it
that
recently,
right?
but
That is correct.
Yeah, I remember I was a roommate also. We had 5 guys or apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, 1 bath, and downstairs an attic.
Downstairs what?
An attic. He called it.
That's called a basement.
Or maybe he
If
meant
you're-
downstairs and an attic.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, that's a basement.
I lived with my brother in an apartment for a couple of semesters.
You did? You guys get along?
as well as we ever did, which was okay.
Everybody in the app chat saying the boyfriend's the a-hole.
My brother, who's a Baptist minister, wanted to know what beer tasted like, so he went and got a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer.
And it tasted just as bad as regular beer.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Smoking Joe says, F Jake, kick his ass to the curb. Noggle says the 2 girls had an agreement already, so the guy should get his own place.
And aren't you worried that if you got 2 roommates that are boyfriend and girlfriend, they're gonna outvote you on every single issue?
Unless you bring another girl into the picture, and now all of a sudden you've evened the odds.
No. It's
or
2
another
girls.
guy.
Yeah, 2 girls
she
and a
gets
guy.
a boyfriend.
She's like, well, now I'm going to get a boyfriend and he's going to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be worse.
Cappy, are you in early to talk sports?
That was the plan, but I mean, listen, I can come back in an hour.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah,
I mean,
come back
you know,
in an hour.
be honest with you, I'm pretty flexible today. It's Thursday, so it's kind of cold outside today. It's chilly.
It's
gonna-
windy,
We got a
yeah.
cold front coming in. Did you get a chance to talk to Chuck DeBroder and get a weekend forecast?
Chuck D.
No, but I could tell you what he would tell us if we did talk to Chuck.
Wait, Neckline Caller just came in.
Good chance of rain this weekend. Today, it's going to be pretty light. You might see a few random showers here and there, but not much. 62. Tomorrow's the cold front, cloudy. 54 for the high temperature. We're going to put it at about a 30% chance of rain on Friday. Rain might continue through Saturday, but it's mostly going to clear up. Mostly, I say, by Sunday, and the highs will be back up in the mid-60s. But Friday and Saturday, highs are only going to get up to the 50s.
What's your source? What do you use for your weather forecast? Because there's so many different versions out there that all give you a little bit of the same, but sometimes the temps differ. What do you have? You go with weather.com with
My
National Weather Service.
sciatica acts up.
You go with that. You go with
front moving in.
You go with that. You go with
If there's
AccuWeather.
an occluded front, the corns on my feet start
occluded
hurting.
front.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys in an hour.
All right, see you then, Cappy.
All right, you got it.
You're going to miss the story about werewolf babies, though.
What? Mm-hmm. Werewolf babies.
Uh-huh.
All right.
What are these freaking werewolf babies that we're hearing about?
Well, they are little werewolves.
Here is the New York Post headline: Infants developing werewolf syndrome after parents take popular hair loss drug.
Oh, I know what this is then.
Is that the way you understood this story, Alberto? You said you knew what was going on with the werewolf
Their
babies.
parents have been using a lot of minoxidil. Is that what it was?
This is primarily in Spain.
Okay.
Werewolf syndrome, excessive body hair due to their parents taking a popular over-the-counter hair loss remedy. They say parents, but it's the dad, right?
No,
No.
You're mixing it up. So the
woman
mom
takes hair loss.
The mom is not supposed to use minoxidil is contraindicated in pregnancy, so you're not supposed to use it when you're pregnant.
I haven't said yet that it was minoxidil.
Oh well,
I did. I said that though. That's why maybe he.
Wait,
I
what?
said that.
Okay,
It
so
would
the
mostly
mother.
be men taking hair restorative.
No, women use it all very often. For women with thin hair.
Yeah, women can use it too, but
Yeah, it's just not indicated for pregnancy because it does have these side effects. I think that's called hypertrichosis.
This is an over-the-counter hair loss remedy. They've detected about a dozen cases of hypertrichosis, commonly known as werewolf syndrome, and found that, it was minoxidil after all, was used by each of their parents. Each of their parents. Infants who develop werewolf syndrome grew tuffy hair, Tuff. Is that a word?
Like
tufty hair.
Like a tuft of hair.
Yeah. Mostly on their back, legs, and face. And in extreme cases, can look like a Wookiee from Star Wars.
werewolf
Nice,
baby.
New York Post. Investigators believe that 5% minoxidil is absorbed by the babies one way or another, either topically or orally.
Now, I don't believe, though, that if a man is taking minoxidil, so people might be worried about this if you're pregnant or if you're trying to get pregnant right now. If you're a dude who uses minoxidil or Rogaine, I don't think you can give this to the baby.
Yeah, I don't think that affects.
Yeah. So
your-
if the man,
your chances of
if the man is using it, I don't think there's going to be any defects or health concerns. I think it's only
Definitely if the mother
if the
is taking
mom
it.
is. Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
you may be hearing this and say, well, a dozen cases, that doesn't sound like too many. Over the last 1,000 years, there have only been 100 documented cases of hypertrichinosis since the Middle Ages.
Trichosis, not trichinosis.
Oh, trichinosis is what you get if you eat undercooked pork, right? Okay. But werewolf syndrome has come to the attention of public health officials in Spain. Health officials found that in one case, the father was using topically applied 5% minoxidil. When the father stopped the treatment, the child's symptoms completely regressed. So are the babies getting it in the womb, or are they getting it after they're born? Because that makes it sound like it's after they're born. Another case, a 2-year-old girl with a rare hirsute condition popped up in Malaysia last year. She was hailed as the monarch of Malaysia as a child from heaven. Okay.
Hirsute.
Hirsute. So there's a good word. It means hairy.
Yeah.
You're the opposite of hirsute.
In a world where parents crave luscious locks, a new horror is unleashed. Werewolf babies. They're fuzzy, they're ferocious, and they're teething. But beware, one diaper change could change everything. This holiday season, skip the Rogaine and embrace the main. Werewolf babies coming to a crib near you. Rated PG for parental growl. Sponsored by Minoxidil.
We'll take a break here. I guess Steve's going to come back in an hour. And Joanna is up next with news headlines on the way.
Yeah, at long last, the desert bighorn sheep return home to the Franklin Mountains.
What?
Nice. Yeah, I'll have your details next in news.
While you're working away, we're working for you. Our job.
Time ever at World. Now through January 4th. Tickets available now at magicoflights.com.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers. At GVILaw.com.
Joanna has news headlines ahead for us. I also have a true crime report for this morning. And we got a few calls about the Am I the A-hole? Some people are telling us their roommate stories. Do you want to hear a couple of those?
Yeah, definitely.
Why don't you first tell us about comedy this weekend? Adam Dominguez is going to be in town, and also Martin Moreno,
Yep.
who was part of Gabriel Iglesias' crew.
He is.
Like the original crew. Is he still?
Yeah, I think so. Martin Moreno and his son Hooter Moreno will be at Lowbrow Palace tomorrow.
Is that Hooter?
Hooter.
Hooter?
Mm-hmm. And Adam will be performing along with him. Yeah.
And are you going to be on that bill?
No, I'm not on the show.
Are you doing your scenics?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let us know by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And then the comic strip. You got the people with the comic
Sean
strip.
Grant.
Sean Grant, yeah. Meet the Grahams.
All right, here's somebody calling about the roommate story.
You know, since we're on the roommate story, I got one. Back in college, I had about 3 roommates with 3 other girls. And, you know, the 3 of us were feeling very, I don't know, it was, the apartment was very tense because of this one girl. So we all decided to have a conversation about what's going on. And not that we were ganging up on her. We were just telling her, like, hey, you know, this is what we're feeling, what's going on and everything. And, you know, we thought things were going to go for the better. You know, things were going to turn up and look good. But, no, after we had our little roommate conversation, our little roommate meeting, she stopped doing her dishes. She stopped cleaning up after herself. Nice. And this was right before our monthly inspection. So one roommate and I had to hide all of her dirty dishes just so we can get a passing inspection. And as soon as that inspector left and gave us an A, we got all of her dishes and put them back up. And we told her, your turn. So, man, sometimes when you talk to your roommates, it doesn't always work out. But, oh, well.
Okay.
Wait, what kind of rooming situation where you have an inspection?
Where you have an inspection?
Yeah, some
was that like at a dormitory?
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe on campus or. That was the best thing about living off campus is you kind of made your own rules.
Mm-hmm.
And not living with your mom. Oh, you know what? I was trying to look up the information for the Lowbrow Palace show tomorrow. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Lowbrow Palace, and that's going to be Hooter, Martin, and Adam Dominguez.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah! Oh God, here we go again.
Let's get this started.
Oh, my. Here is Joanna Barba with news headlines. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in Manhattan yesterday in what's described as a brazen targeted attack. New York police said the gunman remains on the loose and a motive is still unclear, but they are tracking down several good leads to find the shooter. Detectives said a phone found in an alley the gunman ran through may have belonged to him. Police also found a water bottle that detectives believe the gunman purchased at Starbucks just minutes before the attack. Bullets were also recovered from the scene that had the words written on them, deny, defend, and depose on the shell casings. Officials said they're examining whether the words relate to a possible motive involving insurance companies and their responses to claims. The company has faced scrutiny for the way it reviews and denies requests or claims for medical care. United Healthcare has been investigated for its use of prior authorization to determine whether services are medically necessary for seniors covered by Medicare Advantage plans.
I was listening to an expert. He was talking about those shell casings that had the words, and they think, first of all, they don't think he was a professional hitman.
Right.
Because he left behind evidence in the bottle with the DNA on it. But they do think because of the words written on the casing, it might have been somebody who had a grudge against the company and sought out the CEO and shot him to death. Do you want to hear a little bit from the police?
Sure.
All right, this is NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch talking about the shooting of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare.
The suspect fled, first on foot, then on an e-bike, and was last seen in Central Park on Center Drive early this morning.
And a little bit more from NYPD Commissioner Tisch.
At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
I mean, it's shocking. Yeah. He was assassinated, essentially, in the street going to his investor conference.
That is the CEO of Eli Lilly, David Rex, commenting on the murder.
Alberto, are you commenting on the story through Skype?
Yeah. Sometimes there'll be comments that aren't worthy of the air.
Oh. If they're not worthy of the air, they're probably
definitely not worthy of
Skype.
Oh, man.
What if he fled on my stolen e-bike?
Oh, no, I forgot about Alberto's stolen bike. It was stolen.
In El Paso, not New York.
No. You never know.
We don't know if
Well, those things only have a range of about 25 miles.
Pete Hegseth, President-elect Trump's pick for defense secretary, said on Wednesday he would not back down as new misconduct allegations cause growing concern among Republican senators tasked with whether to confirm him. Going public in his own defense, Hegseth also directly addressed several of the accusations for the first time in an interview with Megyn Kelly. He denied many of the claims he mistreated women and pushed back on reports he was forced out from two veterans nonprofit groups. He also promised senators he stopped drinking and won't drink if confirmed.
This is, I was thinking about this because I guess even at Fox News, they were concerned about how much alcohol, and it's not against the law to consume alcohol, but Just the idea of I am not going to touch alcohol.
That he's had to publicly make a statement like that. Well,
But also, from what I understand, saying you're not going to touch alcohol for an alcoholic is much easier said than done, right?
Right. Well, a lot of the accusations claim he's been drunk in public.
Nice.
You tell us, Buzz.
I think it makes Buzz more efficient. So.
Well, I wouldn't know because I haven't tried to quit. Some people were really taking a few shots at him because his mother spent time yesterday going around and talking to senators, and people are like, wow, that's really alpha. Well, your mom is going and talking to your potential employers.
Had done that thing.
She wrote an email that said he abused women.
I think she called him like a woman abuser or something.
She said in a 2018 email that she had, quote, no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. That's what his mom said, according to the New York Times. But Penelope Hegseth now says that Pete is not the same man he was 7 years ago.
She's like, he stopped drinking.
She said, quote, Pete is a new person. He's redeemed, forgiven, changed. This is religious talk here, I can tell. I think we all are after 7 years. So his second wife filed for divorce after Pete Hegseth impregnated a coworker at a nonprofit group. And you brought that up. There are some there are some reports that he was forced out because of mismanagement.
Right.
If you can't manage a charity, how are you going to manage the Department of Defense?
Yeah.
Good questions. Well, Hegseth said he spoke with Trump earlier on Wednesday and said the president-elect told him, quote, keep going, keep fighting. I'm behind you all the way.
I don't know if he'll be with him all the way because Trump famously is a teetotaler who doesn't drink and, according to Trump, has never tasted alcohol in his life.
Wow. The comments come as a number of senators, at least 6, have privately signaled they're not inclined to vote for him, leading Trump's advisors to begin discussing who may be a viable replacement.
Well, so
Ron DeSanctimonious, his name gets thrown around.
DeSanctimonious.
People think that Trump can just nominate whoever and that's going to be like automatic. But part of the senator's job is to advise.
Well, the question is, how much are these Republican senators willing to stand up? I mean, it is really the Trump party. It's not the Republican party.
But the difference, though, is when it comes to senator races, they are generally more bipartisan, or you have to at least go to the middle. Like, that's why there's less as extreme senators as there are House members.
Let me tell you, I never want to be nominated for a cabinet position ever.
Because of the skeletons?
Right. Who needs somebody going with a fine-tooth comb through their personal history?
Like Buzz Adams once left a pizza on a grill for 36 hours. Is this who you want running the country?
A man who can't even cook a pizza?
Well, President-elect Trump's first network interview since the election will be this Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press. The network says the interview with show moderator Kristen Welker will be taped tomorrow and then air Sunday morning. Clips of the interview will be released prior to the show. Welker interviewed Trump for NBC News in September of 2023, which ended up being his only network sit-down during the presidential campaign. The Supreme Court appeared likely to endorse a divisive Tennessee law that bans gender-affirming care for minors after more than 2 hours of oral arguments on Wednesday. The case could determine whether states can restrict puberty blockers and hormone therapy for transgender children and teens. A decision is expected by July 2025. During the arguments, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said she was suddenly quite worried and nervous about conservatives' arguments in the controversy. Republican lawmakers who support the ban say decisions about care should be made after an individual becomes an adult. Opponents argue that in addition to violating the civil rights of trans youth, the laws also run afoul of parents' rights to make decisions about their children's medical care.
Do you have audio?
Comments? Me? No. Do you have audio?
No, but I will say that our AfterBuzz from Tuesday is up. And
Buzz mentioned that you guys talked about that.
Well, because I came across an article that was by, I think, trans activists, and they were talking about how after the election, they've done polls, and out of all the issues that people vote on, they like put the list together, trans rights and trans issues, dead last. like dead last as issues that people are voting.
The Trump campaign must have thought it was a winner for them because they spent a lot of money running anti-trans gender ads, attacking Kamala.
Well, because Kamala had that policy where she wanted taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners in California.
You know, one thing that we said on the podcast that I'll share here is, how about this? No elective surgery for anybody incarcerated.
Right. No elective surgery.
You
not
can't
just
get a
sex
nose
change.
job.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get your stomach stapled. It's an elective surgery. You don't get it on the taxpayer dime because you committed a crime and you're in jail for it. How about that? That seems like a rational middle position to take, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so
when Trump said that in the debate that Kamala wants to give sex change operations to illegal immigrants in jail,
it sounded ridiculous.
It sounded like a mad lib of the worst conservative fears.
It sounded like they're eating the cats and dogs.
And then I looked it up, and it's like and he said it the same night that he said the thing about the cats and the dogs. So I thought, well, that's even more ridiculous. Then I looked it up, and it's
true.
Oh,
she did.
Snap. True.
So the article's whole thing was like, oh, okay, if we're losing support, trans activists are losing support. Maybe it's because of the way we've gone about our activism, being kind of militant about it,
demanding that people use the right pronoun,
and being super angry, calling people hateful if they don't.
Right.
That maybe our approach. So the whole thing's about like the approach might be different.
Interesting. Well, you can listen to that after Buzz.
Yep.
It's up now.
It's up
on the KLAQ mobile app.
Yep.
For the first time in nearly a century, bighorn sheep are returning to the Franklin Mountains, marking a significant milestone in conservation efforts for the region.
Wait, big horny sheep, you say?
Bighorn sheep. Bighorn sheep coming back.
I feel so dumb because I was going to make a horny joke. And the fact he got to it first makes me think, wow.
Texas Park and Wildlife in partnership with organizations such as the Texas Bighorn Society and the Wild Sheep Foundation is leading the restoration project to reintroduce desert bighorn sheep to the Franklin Mountains State Park. Bighorn sheep were once abundant in West Texas but disappeared from the Franklin Mountains nearly a century ago due to overhunting and diseases introduced by domestic livestock. Conservation measures began as early as 1903 with a ban on hunting, but unregulated hunting and livestock issues continued to threaten the species. The current initiative aims to translocate approximately 80 bighorn sheep from Elephant Mountain Wildlife Management. Each bighorn is fitted with GPS collars to monitor their movement and survival. The reintroduction team has carefully selected the Franklin Mountains because they remain one of the few habitats in Texas without the presence of Aoudad sheep, an animal in the sheep and goat family that poses risks to bighorn sheep through competition for resources and the transmission of the fatal bacteria MOV. That is also the same bacteria that was carried by Bob the goat, who died during an attempt to relocate him from the Franklin Mountains back in September. R.I.P. Bob.
Remind me of Bob the goat?
Remember, he was the majestic goat that lived in the Franklin Mountains.
But he's not one of these bighorn sheep?
No, because he died in September because they were like, oh, we're going to relocate him. And he died in that relocation effort. And they were like, oh, well, because he had this bacteria.
Murder!
But we were like, just leave him alone in the mountains. He was fine.
You killed Bob.
Justice for Bob the goat.
Should have been Billy.
Well, Bob was better. El Paso City Council received an update on the status of the city's Sunset Amphitheater in Northeast El Paso, where it was revealed there has been a delay. In April of this year, City Council approved the public-private partnership with the music venue company Notes Live to construct the $80 million amphitheater where Cohen Stadium once was located. City Representative for District 4, Joe Molinar, had requested the update as part of an agenda item and said the people of Northeast El Paso wanted to know why the city had not broken ground when it was believed that that was supposed to happen in August. Karina Bresgala with the city's Department of Economic and International Development said Notes Live had talked about wanting to break ground in August, but that a groundbreaking deadline had not actually been set. Bresgala also said that they have not closed on the land transfer because of an issue with the title work, because they need a, quote, very clean bill of title on the property to close the deal, something that she expects to happen this month. According to Bresgala, the city might miss the beginning of the 2026 season, but she does not expect the delays to impact any of the contractual timelines.
You know, we're in the early voting period for the runoff election between the mayors and 5 city council seats.
Yes.
But the mayor's race is one that everybody in the county can vote on, in the city.
Yeah.
So if I were to boil it down to one topic that I think people could really relate to, Renard Johnson is totally on board with the downtown multi-purpose arena that was approved by voters. He's kind of under duress in 2012.
He says
2012.
He says that he wants to still build it.
Yeah.
Because he says that the bond that was originally passed was the will of the people, and that we need to listen to the will of the people.
Brian Kitty, on the other hand, says it wasn't enough money to build this project in the first place. Much of it has been squandered on legal bills and feasibility studies. All the different studies. So Brian is fully, Kennedy that is fully ready to move on and just maybe even let the voters vote on it now. It's 12 years later since it was approved.
Can you believe?
They built the ballpark in like a year and a year, and they still haven't even broken ground on the downtown.
They can't decide where downtown is going to be.
Doesn't it make you think, though, that Renard might have some more interest in that then?
The interview we had with Renard, he came in, well, somebody was with him, but it was just he and I one-on-one, and he really seems to be aligned with the moneyed interest in El Paso. So the same people who brought you the ballpark. If you think they've done a great job with the ballpark, maybe you'll think they'll do a great job with the multi-purpose arena. But if you think the multi-purpose arena is a big money-sucking waste of time, you'll probably line up more with Kennedy.
I wonder what happens, because didn't we just vote? El Paso voted for the new referendum. Didn't we just vote on the?
There was a few.
No, that we specifically voted on the arena money. Did anybody vote here?
I don't even remember what I voted for.
I voted against the county coliseum renewal.
Yeah, but they also had the
you did? No.
Not the renewal, about the revamp of it, right?
Of the Coliseum, yeah.
No, I'm talking about there was something on the ballot this year that was, do you want to get rid of or not do the arena anymore?
Oh, I think there was something on there about that.
It was one of the
and it was
special
like,
ones
do you
at the
want to
end.
like continue with that or something like that?
Do you wanna
And
see
you could
it
vote
through?
yes or no.
And it came out, everybody said no.
So then people have already voted, we don't want to do this
don't want to do this anymore. So I'm wondering whether Renard would still be forced to.
Yeah, well, the interview that we had with him was before November 5th.
Thing,
Yeah, but if he becomes mayor, is he going to be like, no, we're still going to go through with this?
I'd be just curious.
Oh, yeah, good question. We should probably get them back on.
Sure. In the interview that we did with Renard Johnson, I threw him what I thought was a big softball question, is like, what endorsement are you most proud of? Because the Police Association endorses, the Firefighters Association. Renard mentioned his biggest moneyed donors, the Hunt family, the Fosters. And I was giving him something, what's like an endorsement that you've gotten that you're really proud of? And he just listed these, big players in El Paso.
Yeah. Well, finally, December 1st was so much more than simply the start of the 12th and final month of 2024. For those who play the loosely organized annual game called Whamageddon, it meant that from that morning, just after midnight through midnight on Christmas Eve, it's game on. The battle has begun. The long good fight once again resumes. And for players, it's time to avoid hearing Wham's Last Christmas for
what
as long
happens
as
if you hear it?
You are out of the game. You lose the game. That is the whole game. Try not to hear Wham's Last Christmas.
How does Wham's last Christmas go?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked.
Okay, how much of it do you have to hear? Do you have to hear the whole thing?
As soon as you recognize it, you've lost.
We've lost.
Yeah, so if we were all playing here,
that's
we have
the rule?
lost. That's the rule. I can say I do not participate in Whamageddon because I freaking love this song.
And you would always hear it?
And I'm always playing it. Yeah. Yes.
Now, what if somebody heard it, recognized it, and then switched off the radio?
As soon as you recognize it, that's part
It's
of
too
the
late.
rules.
You're all out. I got all of you.
What happens if you win?
I'm so happy. You win. You just win. You are the winner of
You
Whamageddon.
went an entire year without hearing
It's
Last Christmas by
mainly-
Wham. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's mainly a social media game, of course, on the Whamageddon Facebook page. The participants check in daily to let others know that they are still alive, and others go to report that they've joined the fallen. For the record, simply thinking about Last Christmas will not eliminate you from the game.
If you just think about it.
So thinking about it, you can sing it, you can hum it.
How about
It's
Careless
only-
Whisper?
Careless Whisper is not the Christmas song. It's only hearing the thing on a sound system that will get you sent to Whamhalla. But given how often the particular song pops up on radios and grocery stores, getting through 24 days without hearing the catchy earworm is not easy. So if you were playing Whamageddon, you just lost because Buzz played it. And I asked you not to play it.
This is like that stupid kid game where they go,
I just want to add for anybody just joining us.
you lost. You lose.
You're out
You've
too.
lost. You get sent to Whamhalla.
It's like that stupid kids game where they go, have you heard of the game?
Yeah.
And they go, what's the game? Oh, you lost.
You just lost.
You just lost the game. The game is to not think of the game. And so,
The second you think about the game, you're
lost.
out.
Yeah, you're out of the
I
game.
think that's a millennial thing.
Yeah.
Alberto's not a millennial.
Okay, in you millennials, did you have a game called the Circle Game?
What's the circle? Oh! No, doesn't it have to be below the knee?
It has to be below your waist.
Below the waist.
And you make a circle with your fingers, and if somebody looks at it, you get to punch them unless they put their
doesn't count.
finger in the circle
In the
that you
hole.
made in the hole. You
gotta
put the
finger the
finger in the
hole.
hole. You got to finger that hole for everything you got, and then you get to punch them.
Did they play that game in the 70s, Buzz?
Definitely the 80s.
Whamageddon is on until Christmas Eve. And with your news, I'm Joanna Barba.
How about this? Would this count if it's just the lyrics of Last Christmas set to the tune of Slayer's Angel of Death?
Oh, that is a good question.
Do you think that would count as losing Whamageddon?
It's not the tune to it.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Bam, that's my new Christmas song this year. Oh, there it is. Yep, you're out. You're out. Yeah.
I wasn't exactly sure how the rules would apply. How about our late night roundup?
Alrighty.
Highlights and funniest moments from late night television. This is the late night roundup, and here we go.
The FBI is investigating mysterious aircrafts that keep appearing over New Jersey. Or as they call them in New Jersey, UFOs.
According to a new study, crabs can feel pain when they are boiled alive.
Oh, no.
To conduct the study, scientists used a rigorous technique known as thinking about it for a second. Researchers confirmed crabs can feel pain by attaching electrodes measuring brain activity to shore crabs, which were then exposed to noxious stimuli. The findings were published in the prestigious New England Journal of your cousin who you think is going to grow up to be a murderer.
I saw that a shopping mall in Los Angeles is charging $165 for kids to meet Santa. Oh. Yeah, these kids are so rich, Santa asked them for presents. Normally, if sitting on someone's lap costs $165, you're not at the mall. You know what I'm saying?
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday.
See Speaking Rock's Baseball won El Paso's biggest Dallas Cowboys tailgate party. Age 21 and over.
They make you laugh every day. They keep you up to date on all the news. They're just fun to listen to.
Buzz Adams, mornings on the Q.
Buzz, what a cute little name.
This is the morning show on 95.5 KLAQ.
This hour, I have a true crime report. Steve Kaplowitz said he was going to come back in and talk sports. Really good game tonight, Thursday Night Football. Hope you got Prime. Amazon Prime, that is. Detroit, probably the best team in the country. According to the power rankings, the Lions are the best team in the country. Yeah, they're going to be playing Green Bay, who just cracked the top 5, number 4. So it's a number, as far as the power rankings go, number 1, Detroit, number 4, Green Bay play tonight.
When's the last time the Detroit Lions were the best
Well,
team?
Detroit famously had a long drought where they could not get a winning record. I mean, one of the worst in the league for a long, which is a shame because they had one of the greatest players, Barry Sanders of all time, great running back. Spent his entire career there.
Our friend John Stringer is a big Detroit Lions fan, and every year he's always sad. He knows what the year is going to be like as a Lions fan, except this year.
The Lions are flying high, and they had a good season last year. You watching a lot of football, Adam?
Yep. Definitely.
Adam Dominguez is here from El Paso.
Olas.
Adam.
Who are you a fan of?
I grew up in a Vikings household, so we didn't talk much except for like, you guys remember
Fran Tarkington?
Yeah. So we knew how to stay quiet, but then, finally go to playoffs, and we're like, we can speak. We can, look, we have a personality now. And
Aaron Jones is now with the Vikings, and he had the big El Paso 915 sombrero on
the big
last
push.
weekend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
dude's
lie.
awesome. I've never met him, but I'd love to.
Oh yeah, everything that he's done, I'm become a fan. I'm not gonna lie, I became like a quiet Packers fan, which is hard to be when you grow up in a Vikings household.
But now he's a Viking.
Yeah. So
who's the Vikings fan? Your dad?
My dad's real punk, so he was like, he hated the Cowboys so bad that he was like, what's the place farthest away from here?
Geographically, what's the farthest you get away from Dallas?
And that's how spiteful my dad is. Just like, and he's like, nope, we say Skull in this house.
It would probably either be the Bills, the Dolphins, or the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Hey, until Hawaii gets a team.
Well, tell us about a big comedy show tomorrow at Lowbrow Palace.
Yeah, we've got Martin Moreno, who some of you guys know.
Martin was part of, as far as I know, the original Fluffy crew.
Yeah, he still
Gabriel.
is. They're
still part of the crew?
tight. Yeah, they're he's dropping in. He's dropping in one night only at Lowbrow Palace. Along with him will be his son, Hooter Moreno. And then he called me up and he said, hey, you want to come down, visit your hometown, jump in on some shows? So we'll be there. Tickets are running very low. So we've already got the message from
Get
Lowbrow.
your tickets ahead of time.
Lowbrow Palace, go buy them online. That'll be
Is
tomorrow.
Martin still part of the Gabriel's crew?
Yes, he's actually just getting off of a tour with him. They were in New York, so both of them together, and they both go out. They close up the show together, and you got to keep in mind, Texas is a huge comedy boom place.
I wonder. Here's something. I wonder if Gabriel was here a few months ago. Apparently, when Gabriel comes to town, it's usually the John Haskins Center. He does a few minutes roasting me.
Yeah, he's his ties with El Paso, and I mean, you
run pretty deep.
You being a staple, you're a pillar of this whole entire community.
A pillar. Is it Corinthian?
Yeah.
I'm more of a Doric.
Ionic. Yeah.
I feel bad. I guess we had poked some fun at Gabriel.
You said he was so fat he was probably going to die that year. You bet on it.
I didn't say that. We used to.
You implied it.
He was only like 32. You know how many points? I would have got 68 points. Yeah, it's a thing we do every year, and I regret it, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize. You're playing for points out over here, okay? This is going back to football speak. It doesn't matter if it's a late hit, okay? You're doing your job. What are you going to stop him from the first down? That's what's going to hit him. You're going to hit low.
Yeah.
And
another part of another guy who is in Gabriel's crew is coming in January.
Oh, Felipe.
And Felipe Esparza.
Felipe Esparza, yeah. So that's why now's the time to go catch him up, because it is going to be amazing for Texas what they can do, what they plan on doing, hopefully.
What is that?
I mean...
Texas has become like a comedy mecca.
Yeah.
Because of Rogan, right?
Rogan started off a thing saying out there that you don't have to do the old stuff. You can build clubs and just, and there's a huge...
You don't have to be in New York or LA to break through.
You don't need the gatekeepers at the clubs to let you in as much anymore.
Yeah, you've got TikTok now and stuff, and I don't hate on it anymore because it's just the new thing. and now you've got those people who are selling out places that you may have never heard of, but those are people who are keeping our business going. So
are you talking about like people who got famous on TikTok?
Oh yeah, and that's why much love to
how
them.
many comics? Because Adam travels a lot now, and he's part of the Las Vegas comedy scene, like an integral part of it. How many people do you hear bitching all the time about social media?
Oh, it's always old heads. It's always old comedians,
like friggin' Brad Garrett or somebody.
Yeah, well, Brad loves it.
Oh yeah,
but Brad, who's one of the sweetest human beings, but he is also definitely somebody who's like, what do you know about old Kinnison days? You know? Yeah. So
Darren Carter's gotten on it real good.
Yeah, you're catching a lot of the older guys who are playing the young man's game.
They were trying to tell Buzz that he should start his own TikTok channel.
You should. You should. And it should be just you getting annoyed of Nico.
Well, that would be every day.
I think this would be a good time to get in the true crime report. Are you cool with that?
You got a Florida man?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Haven't checked it yet.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
A regular feature here, we take a look at interesting crime stories from around the world and across the nation here on the True Crime Report. Got some audio to go with some of these anyway. A thief hit a Walmart, and he should have known it was not going to be his day when he saw the 40 marked police cars outside. This happened near Richmond, Virginia on Sunday. 32-year-old Hector Maldonado pulled into the parking lot, and there were around 40 marked police cruisers right there in the parking lot. But he was there to rob the place, and he went through with it. He tried to walk out with $1,400 worth of stuff from Walmart.
That's all of Walmart.
Well, about 50 cops were inside the store because it was one of those shop with a cop events for Christmas. They were all in uniform. A Walmart employee said that he saw Maldonado hiding items and trying to leave the store, so the police surrounded him. He tried to escape, but they chased him down and put him in custody. We have a little bit of audio from this story. Here is Police Lieutenant James Lamb, who was there talking about Hector Maldonado attempting to shoplift, and he does mention the 40 marked police cars in the parking lot, too.
Between the Sheriff's Department and police officers, about 50 uniformed personnel at the store. A member of the staff at Walmart came up to us and informed us that they had a shoplifting in progress inside the store. We were able to see on video the suspect as he was concealing merchandise. As we approached from different directions, he tried to escape out the back of the store. I think he was stunned. 15 officers at that point. We had 30 to 40 marked patrol cars in the parking lot. And when we found his vehicle, it was actually facing where all of our cars were parked. So he would have had to have seen them. It just didn't matter to him. He was going to take the chance.
He definitely, it's not like there's not another Walmart within 30 minutes, right?
Or maybe you just don't, you just start blaming it on self-checkout. Like, I was going out through there.
Police in Illinois saved a pregnant woman whose brakes were out as she was headed down a dead-end road toward a lake that was iced over. Her brakes wouldn't work, and she could not shut off the engine. We have a pretty intense 911 call. So there's a police maneuver, Adam. I've just learned about this. If a car's out of control, that's something you don't think happens in real life, only on TV or movies. Like the car, somebody cut the brake lines or whatever. They do this thing where the police car gets in front of the runaway car and lets the car run into the police unit.
And then they file for insurance. I knew this.
But listen.
It's called a ramadoodle.
Listen to the driver. She's, as you can imagine, pretty panicky. But then when she hits the police car, it ramps up.
I need help. My brakes won't stop. My car won't stop. My brakes aren't working. I'm 20 weeks pregnant. I cannot die today. I'm trying to hit the brake as hard as I can, and it won't stop.
Moved to get in front of it and then
conducted a rolling roadblock, which allowed him to get in front of the vehicle, gently apply the brakes, and slowly make contact with the front of the vehicle that was out of control.
I'm gonna hit the cop! I'm gonna hit him! I didn't mean to, I swear the
No,
car
they know, hey,
stop.
ma'am, it's okay, they know.
I didn't mean to.
Ma'am, it's okay, they know, okay?
All right.
They arrested her right after that.
This happened in Illinois, and if they had not stopped the car, she would have gone right into a freezing lake.
Oh my gosh.
And she mentioned she was pregnant. I couldn't make out. I think she said 20 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, 22.
Maybe.
So dramatic.
Wait,
pregnant woman.
I'm wondering though, how did they have time? So she was on the phone, realized her brakes are out, calls 911. They dispatch cars to get in front of her. How long did this whole thing take?
I don't know.
How long was she rolling downhill?
How tall was this hill?
Yeah.
Those are all great questions. In Connecticut,
Joanna, is that why? Is there like a big sigh of relief when you see the stories? Like, God, thank God I don't drive.
Yeah, kind of. This is why I don't.
This story is from Connecticut. A 42-year-old man named Andrew Kinghorn walked into a restaurant called Papa T's. He sat at the counter and asked for a menu.
All right, everything's normal so far.
Sure. He then went to the restroom, and 15 minutes later, according to eyewitnesses, he came out fully nude. Not one single stitch of clothing was on him.
Mm-hmm.
According to the police report, it caused some alarm among the other patrons. The place bills itself as a casual dining family restaurant. Well, there's casual, and then there's casual. Several kids were there when it happened. Mr. Kinghorn was still naked when police finally showed up, but complied when they asked him to put his clothes back on.
That's my favorite part right now. It's like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, I don't know how this happened.
Oh, you guys know $1 margarita Tuesdays. You know, this guy's insane.
Or maybe he had a stain and he just was trying to get it out.
Every article of clothing.
Well, maybe it was like a Lucy situation. It just got worse and worse.
Yeah, just compounded upon itself. It's not clear if he was on drugs or what drugs they might have been, but he is facing charges for breach of peace and risk of injury to a minor.
Yeah, could have poked that kid's eye out.
So Joe Francis is the guy who put out those Girls Gone Wild videos like 20-something years ago.
Legend.
They used to advertise him.
Legend.
Well, he fled to Mexico to avoid charges in the United States.
As one does.
But he was interviewed in his first interview in a long time for the Peacock docuseries Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story. It turns out that Joe Francis is pretty much as scummy as ever. He said it was really the fault of the underage girls that they victimized him.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's what he eventually got brought down for, was that some of the girls were not yet of age. They weren't 18.
Yeah.
He says they were real close.
I asked their ages. They lied. It's their fault.
He was asked in the Girls Gone Wild documentary about an incident in 2013 where he got 4 girls drunk and filmed them nude and in provocative sexual situations. All 4 turned out to be under 18.
Wow.
And they went to the police.
There's your problem.
It happened in Panama City, Florida. Francis ultimately pled no contest to misdemeanor child abuse and prostitution charges. He faced a lot of other charges, but finally left the U.S. in 2014. He was in jail for a while, I know, because he would call. Like he
called the show?
Yeah, he was so bored. Sometimes he would just call the show because he had our hotline, so we would get a message
from
Joe Francis. From Joe Francis in the Panama City, wherever he was incarcerated.
Your Caribbean music in the background.
Asked if he felt bad for what happened in 2003, he said, quote, "No, because I don't believe they were victimized. They victimized me." Here's a little more of what Girls Gone Wild
That's some
Joe
gaslighting.
Francis had to say. They were 17, just shy of 18. They were the ones that victimized us.
Yeah.
We all believe they were put up by the Panama City police, and it was all an operation. A little more from Joe Francis. I believe it was quite orchestrated. I walked into an effing snake pit, okay? As for the legacy of Girls Gone Wild, he said, it loosened everything up, quote, I think it just made for a much more fun generation. I think it created the ability to have, obviously, the Kardashians, and it did so much more.
Oh, thanks.
He's taking credit for Kim? Wow.
Taking credit for the Kardashians.
I wonder how Chris feels about that.
Thank you, him and Ray J.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village.
It takes a village to raise a hope.
A village and cell phone footage. That's all it is.
Got another story here. A burglar in California decided to break into a church using an axe, but he wasn't counting on the MMA pastor being there. The
Nobody
mixed
does.
martial arts pastor. Burglar who they believe could have been homeless broke into church on Thanksgiving. However, the pastor was nearby. And it turned out the pastor has a history in MMA.
Wow, Randy Couture found God.
It's like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Oh, I've read this wrong.
Here is Pastor Nick Nevis talking about the confrontation and how he handled the axe-carrying burglar. Oh, carrying. I thought he was wearing Axe body spray. He's carrying an axe.
I shouted at him to stop and that the police were going to be on the way, and I grabbed a hold of him, and we ended up wrestling in the parking lot of the church. I've studied in some jiu-jitsu and some kickboxing and have a mixed martial arts background, and so it was very helpful to be able to grapple with this gentleman without having to do much harm to him. It was just ironic that if he would have just come a couple days earlier, he would have been able to be blessed and get some food, but he decided instead to smash windows and desecrate property and do something that's going to hurt the ministries.
So the pastor says if he'd just come a little earlier, we would have fed him and, I guess, ministered to him. Nick Nevis, there's the pastor. He's done kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and other MMA. The man was arrested, and it's believed that he could be homeless. What about turning the other cheek, dude? And that is our true crime report for today.
Dealing crime and that kind of thing.
I owe my life of crime to the fact that I was a dropout.
Just last week, a guy pulled a knife on me. I could see it wasn't a real professional job. There was butter on it.
I can get away with it, like the crime of the century.
Crime of the century.
What was the man's crime?
And his daring life of crime made him a legend in his time.
He's the worst
Of the Rio Grande.
Remind us one more time, Adam, about the comedy show at Lowbrow.
Yep, this Friday, Martin Moreno, the original part of the Fluffy Crew, will be one night only at Lowbrow Palace. Tickets are on sale at Lowbrow on the website. And then we've also got a pop-up show this Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Saturday.
At Neep.
Neep Collective.
Neep? Yeah.
It's the entertainment park in the Northeast.
Oh, very beautiful spot.
Yeah,
Checked
great.
it out yesterday. So go check that out. That's a secret pop-up show that I'm just announcing
You're
right
just
now.
blowing it out of the water.
Just go over there. Limited seats. Go get your tickets now.
Thank you, Adam.
Miss you guys.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with more right after this.
Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show, Glenn Garza and Daniel Paulus.
On 3 great gifts. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
In honor of werewolf babies in Spain, I guess we're playing Werewolves of London.
What's your
Werewolves of Lisbon?
What's your favorite werewolf movie or werewolf themed movie?
They haven't done a real good job, I don't think. Maybe
the original
American Werewolf in
Okay,
London.
American Werewolf and Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
The original one from the 30s.
No. I mean, those aren't scary. Like the classic Universal monsters are nostalgic, but I've been scared of them since I was like 5 years old.
Twilight.
Oh yeah, I forgot there were I only saw
werewolves.
I only saw one of the werewolf, one of the Twilight movies. The first one, I think.
That's all you need.
There was one that was Benicio del Toro in a Wolfman movie.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
10 years ago. There's one scene in there that is the bloodiest, goriest scene.
Oh.
I mean, it really stands out. The movie was pretty boring, but that one scene is one of the
It's called
goriest.
The Wolfman.
Okay, it's called The Wolfman. There was one called Silver Bullet in the 80s that had Gary Busey in it.
That was a Stephen King.
Not great. It was an adaptation of Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Steve, can you remember any other werewolf movies off the top of your head? Apparently they got werewolf babies in Spain.
Yeah,
people are taking minoxidil and it's making their babies have hair all over their body.
I left the show an hour ago and this was just getting brought up. I come back an hour later and it's the exact same topic like I never
Well,
left.
it was just the bumper music reminded me of the werewolf, the poor werewolf babies.
That's good stuff.
We should raise money for safety razors so they can be shaved.
And raw meat.
Sports go sports. Athletics are number one. Participants are heroes. Go team, yeah.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show presents Go Sports Go. Brought to you by the Viva Auto Group. Viva makes it happen.
Go Sports Go with Steve Kaplowitz from our partner station 600 ESPN El Paso. I got to say, they got a darn good Thursday night game.
They have a great
If you're
game.
lucky enough to have Amazon Prime.
You know, most people might be subscribed. You know, how many people have Amazon? Like they pay for Amazon, so you get the free shipping and all that, but have never realized that Prime is part of what they get.
You mean the watching, the TV,
Exactly.
the sports?
Right. So in other words, they spent $120 or whatever it is a year to make sure they've got the free shipping for everything they buy on Amazon.com. But they've never actually utilized Prime Video, and now maybe think, oh wow, you know what? I get that. I don't have to pay for that.
You're saying if you are signed up for Amazon Prime, you're already have the right to watch it.
Yes.
Prime Video.
Yes. And Prime,
I just found out.
And Prime Music. It's all inclusive. Everything is bundled in. But I bet you there's a bunch of people out there that don't even realize that they actually get Prime Video with their regular Prime subscription that they have. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
It's the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. As far as the power rankings go in USA Today, the Detroit Lions are the number one team in the country at 11-1.
In the country? I mean the NFL.
In the NFL.
What are you? You're thinking college, baby. Mm-hmm. You're back into the college game because of this.
Are there any college teams that aren't in the United States that play in the NCAA? Or
no.
Like Colgate or anything?
Well, Colgate's in the United States.
Is it? I thought it was in Canada.
Yeah.
Colgate?
I don't know. Don't they have Canadian schools that have football programs? They have a Canadian Football League.
They do. That's the CFL.
Colgate University is in Madison County, New York.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, it's close enough.
And this week in the power rankings, they have the Green Bay Packers at number 4. So you've got the number 1 team, the number 4 team, according to the latest power rankings.
Yep.
Going head-to-head on Thursday night.
I love this. I mean, I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and I'm excited because whenever you get two good teams from the same division, you know you're going to have a big battle. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be – first off, it's at Detroit. So you know what that means right out of the gate? It's in a dome.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be the elements.
There could be wind or snow or
it's
rain.
It's going to be a nice and you know, Detroit went into Lambeau and beat the Packers early on. So this is a big one for both teams. I mean, if Green Bay wants to have any chance to try to catch Detroit, they have to win on the road. And meanwhile, if the Lions lose, that kind of gives Philadelphia the inside track to maybe being the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. It's a big game.
Hey, do you want to hear where the Cowboys are coming in the power rankings after 2 consecutive wins?
Let me guess. I'll put
out
them
of 32.
Out of 32?
Yeah.
I'll put them right now at about 14.
Not
22.
even close. 26.
Yeah.
26?
Moving up from 27 last week, 2 W's in a row.
26?
Is Mike McCarthy really about to coach himself into a contract extension?
No. They're not making the playoffs, so why would you give Mike McCarthy more years? Unless
after that Thanksgiving game, some of the Cowboys players were talking about, yeah, we can still sneak in. We can get in somehow.
It's going to be so tough. They would have to take Washington's spot, and I just don't see that happening. Although they beat Washington.
They beat Washington.
Yeah, they did in D.C., so anything's possible. I just don't know. I mean, and by the way, can you imagine if they sneak into the playoffs and it's Cooper Rush who gets it done? And that would be crazy because
they already have the contract for Dak.
Dak's big 4-year, $240 million extension kicks in next season. So, yeah.
Over the course of the time that both Cooper and Dak have been at Dallas, who has better win percentage?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a great question.
I mean,
Probably
Cooper Rush hasn't started as many games, obviously, but just percentage.
Well, he was 5-1 the last time he started.
Right.
For Dak.
I think Cooper Rush probably has a much better record with the Cowboys.
That's a
than
good.
Dak does.
That's a really interesting question. I mean, it's a very small sample size, but yeah, it's very possible. Very possible. So, Cowboys, by the way, play the Bengals Monday night. Monday Night Football from Jerry World.
Nice.
That's going to be a good time. So
Cowboys also got their first win at home.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes because you're right. This team had not won a game until they played the Giants over Thanksgiving.
But this is what makes watching exciting is that, like, the possibility that going into the playoffs, they'll still keep the momentum, right?
So what you're basically saying is you're stringing Cowboy fans along for the final 5 weeks of the season with a glimmer of hope that if in fact
glimmer is better than nothing.
Yeah,
that's true. Like
talk to Cowboys guy.
Yeah,
he'll tell you.
That's
number 4 is playing number 1, and the Bears, who are 4-8, should have beaten both of those teams. Yeah, this is a really great league. Bye.
Okay.
Listen, just because Tracy's a Bears fan, I mean, that's all I can tell you there.
Is that, if you're from Indiana, are you automatically a Bears fan? Is that their region?
Pretty close.
Yeah,
I would think so. It makes sense. There's no. Well, no. I mean, you could be a Colts fan, but when he was there, the Colts were in Baltimore. They weren't in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's right. The Colts are in Indianapolis now.
Yes.
I don't know how I forgot that.
Yes, but I mean, Tracy's old enough that when he was living in Indiana, it was the Baltimore Colts. So I could see how you're a Bears fan in those days. Plus, in the 70s, they had Walter Payton. They were fun.
I've got some audio.
Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, Gale Sayers. That's right.
Sayers.
Even Dick Butkus in the early 70s.
I got some audio I was curious about Steve's reaction to, but this is in response to the dirty hit against Trevor Lawrence and the 3-game suspension of Azeen Al-Shaair. Okay, here is Rex Ryan saying Trevor Lawrence, well, this is what he should have done.
I am so sick and tired of seeing people teach, hey, slide. When you're running out here, you slide. The hell you do. Not when you're going full speed down the field and the defender's coming full speed at you.
I think he got suspended for a few games. Azeen.
Three, like basically the rest of the season.
But this Rex Ryan is saying Trevor Lawrence should not have slid in that situation. And I remember asking you on Tuesday, well, is that normal for people to slide in that? And you said, yes, absolutely.
Well, because you're
not supposed to get hit.
The whole concept of the baseball slide is they're not allowed to touch you. So he slid and got drilled and got knocked out of the game.
Well, so Tom Brady was on Colin Cowherd on Tuesday, and he's suggesting penalties.
Penalties.
Defensive players have to be aggressive. That's their nature. I always try to be aggressive on offense. We try to block aggressively. And at the same time, the defense tries to tackle aggressively. So I don't know. There's an aspect to me that I think the quarterbacks and certainly the quarterbacks need to take better care of themselves.
He's right. I mean, listen, Tom Brady, was well, you could say a lot about Tom Brady. Tough guy. Tough guy. And he always knew how to take the best care of himself when he was in the open field running and trying to escape tacklers.
Trevor Lawrence was doing that thing with his finger, like his fingers moving with.
Yeah,
that's
the
really,
that's
really
the,
scary.
The Tua fingers. Yeah, it's scary stuff.
Tom Brady suggested penalties or fines against the quarterbacks
for sliding,
who slide too late and make contact inevitable.
Well, here's the thing: you could slide as a quarterback, and if nobody touches you, you can still get up and run, right? Can you run after a slide?
No, I
if
think the
nobody
slide,
touches you
slide
down? Okay.
automatically downs you.
All right, fine. That's good to know. But also with these defensive players, it's a matter of a microsecond.
Yep.
It happens so fast, and you are coached from the time you play Pop Warner.
Well, plus, I mean,
to finish the play.
You had
to
guys
follow through the play.
But understand this: you have some of the greats of the game, right? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I mean, they didn't get hurt. They didn't put themselves in a spot to get destroyed, like you've seen with Trevor Lawrence. So,
but those are two clips: Rex Ryan and Tom Brady both saying, it's kind of
on the quarterback,
Trevor Lawrence's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they mean immediately. Well, that's the thing was we were talking about. Now, let me say this, okay? So let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Skylar Locklear of UTEP was running, and rather than sliding, he kind of went head first and got destroyed on a play. So,
Was it a dirty play?
Well, I'm trying to remember now. The play he got, the play where the guy launched and clobbered him, that looked like that was as targeting as it gets. But, he's a scrambling quarterback that doesn't go for the baseball slide. He goes head first into plays.
And that's potentially more dangerous for the head, right?
It depends on where the defensive player hits you and the contact. You always say to yourself, okay, if you're in the open field, you got to protect yourself. And if they're coming to get you, you got to try to avoid it as much as possible. Because if you go head first into any type of defensive player, then there's a chance you're going to be you're going to get your bell rung or get even worse. Sure.
Hey, let's go back to the Monday night game here for a second. Cowboys against the Bengals.
Okay.
How are the Bengals doing this year?
Oh, they suck. But here's the deal with the Bengals, okay? It's not like Joe Burrow's fault. The reason the Bengals are terrible is they have no defense. They're giving up 40 points a game. So if your defense is giving up 40 points a game, and what is Joe Burrow supposed to do? Score 45 or 50 a game? And that's kind of what it's turned into this year for Cincinnati. So the defense has not held up their end of the bargain. That's why the Bengals have been losing so many games. Now, the good news is, the Dallas Cowboys offense isn't exactly going to light up anybody. So this is a chance on Monday night to be a very, very good football game. In fact, what is Cincinnati right now? Let me see what their record is in the NFC North. I believe they have 4 wins. I think they're 4-8. They are. They're 4-8 right now. So they're not going anywhere. The only teams worse than them in the AFC, believe it or not, the Raiders are 2-10. The Jags are 2-10. Tennessee is 3-9, along with the Jets, the Browns, and then New England is 3-10. So that's kind of that's rounding out the bottom of the NFC right now.
Hey, check out this headline I have up here on the big screen. Tell me if you've heard about it and what you think.
That sounds the craziest thing
Joe
I've ever
Burrow,
heard.
Since you brought him up,
Yes.
tells Bengals teammates on Hard Knocks that he bought a $3 million Batmobile.
That sounds ridiculous.
I don't know the context. Could he have been joking? $3 million?
No, he's probably serious. Now the question is it an original Batmobile from the movies?
Yeah, it was for sale.
Really?
Recently went up for sale and he bought it.
Not from the
That's
movie.
interesting.
It's from the TV. Is it from the TV show or the movie, the Tim Burton movies?
I thought it was from the
From the TV show?
no, from the trilogies, the movies.
The replica vehicle, it says it is not an original. Comes equipped with a 525 horsepower engine, a smoke screen delivery system, imitation gun turrets. This has got to be either a Christian Bale or the Tim Burton.
So,
Batmobile,
but
right?
he actually dropped. He dropped $3 million on this thing.
I don't know what kind of sense of humor Joe Burrow
That's
has.
$3
He could be
million.
joking.
That's $3 million less than a banana that was just eaten.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, man, I like that. Good story.
A replica Batmobile? A replica, $3 million.
Would you ever do that if you had the money?
No. No, I'd feel guilty about all the starving kids of the world. I got a $3 million Batmobile. Where are you going to drive it? What are you going to do with it?
To the Batcave?
Right.
Yeah, maybe he builds a $10 million Batcave to go along with his $3 million replica Batmobile.
Yeah.
You know, and then how much is he going to spend for the bat suit?
He said that he is planning to get a bat suit.
Well, it said cat suit in the story, which I thought made it a little different.
I thought that could have been a typo.
What's he going to be, Catman?
Well, or is it for a girl?
Okay, that could be the case too.
Hey, Buzz, I have some interesting golf questions for you.
Impossible.
Huh?
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as interesting golf questions.
Yeah.
So the LPGA and the USGA have updated their gender policies, and in order to compete professionally in the LPGA or any of the women's championships, players must be assigned female at birth or have transitioned to female before going through puberty. So these updated policies would effectively rule out eligibility for Haley Davidson. I don't know if you know who that is.
I guess that is a trans woman.
Mm-hmm. It would start in 2025. So I guess they're saying that a person's gender assigned at birth does affect the play.
Unless they transition
before puberty.
Which means what?
Means you would end up on the wrong side of a lot of state laws.
Right.
Like Tennessee, the one that's in front of
But
the
I guess they're
Supreme
saying
Court right
that the gender really affects the play of golf. Would you agree with that?
Let me tell you, first of all, like really good LPGA tour players are phenomenal.
Well, they can hit the ball 300 plus yards.
Yeah, I was going to say,
easily.
can't they drive it just the same?
No.
No, they drive the ball much farther than females.
Men do.
Yes.
You know, you've got
okay.
some of the long hitters on tour that are just blasting that thing out there in a way that I find it hard to believe that a female could
We
hit
should
it
look
as
at
far.
we should look at the average driving distance of an LPGA player versus a PGA player, and I guarantee you they're going to be noticeably different. Yeah.
But are the holes as long?
I don't know. I've never dated an LPGA player.
Are they all par fives or the same distance? I mean, that matters.
Well, first of all, they're not all par fives.
No.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah.
Compared to what you know, if you're a local golfer that goes out on the weekend, much longer.
Do you guys want some stats? I pulled them up.
Yeah.
According to Golf Monthly, this was published in 2023. Okay, so Brandon Matthews, the number 3, this guy on this list, he hits at 321 yards average, and the number 3,
That's a huge average.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and those guys that can hit at 321, like Tony Finau, if under certain circumstances they could hit at 380.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're probably
so-
trying to control it to 320.
So Brandon Matthews, he's third on the list they have here for men's. He hits at 321. The number 1 girl on here, Polly Mack, hits at 281.
Yeah,
on the
Listen,
average.
281 would
50
be
yards difference.
But still, she'd be out driving me by 30 yards.
Yes.
Roy, they have Roy McIlroy. He is at number
Rory
1.
McIlroy?
McIlroy.
I like
sorry.
McElroy.
326. So he completely.
Who's number 1?
He's number 1 right here on this one.
Rory is.
Over Bryson?
Rory over Bryson? Maybe they're not counting.
Well, they're not counting him.
yeah,
He's
the
not on
DP.
this list, but imagine what he could do.
Because he's a traitor.
Maybe.
All of the course conditions, the speed of the greens, the length of the rough, everything is so much. If
Whether you have a penis or not.
Even if you got your score down to scratch in El Paso and you're playing from the back tees at whatever course you're playing,
The back shots.
you would still shoot a 10 over under, let's say, U.S. Open or Masters conditions, probably.
Wow.
I agree
Cap,
with that.
you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, tonight, UTEP BYU women's basketball.
All right, women's
This is the
basketball.
return of BYU to the Haskins Center. So this is a big deal. Women are off to a great start. I think they're 4-1 so far this season.
Big rivalry between
Huge.
UTEP and BYU, men's and women's basketball.
Let me say this, okay? And this is the honest to God truth. Growing up in El Paso, I hated BYU more than every other school that ever came in to play the minors in basketball. Couldn't stand them. Hated them in the early 80s. Didn't like them in the 90s.
Whiners, floppers,
Yes.
criers.
All the time. I can't wait to see how the women are going to be complaining about all the phantom fouls called on them tonight during the game. That's going to be a good one.
Here's the funny thing I remember about BYU. BYU would have some players on their team who were balding because they were like 30 years old. So if you played basketball at BYU, they'd send you out on your
mission
Mormon
for like
mission,
2 or 3 years.
and then you'd come back and you're a grown, like a fully grown man playing 19 and 20
There's
year olds.
nothing wrong with balding in your 30s.
The truth is, yes, there were absolutely 27-year-old basketball players at the time at BYU when UTEP was rolling out 20 and 21-year-old kids. That is a fact. So, yes, going to be fun tonight with UTEP and BYU doing battle at the Haskins Center, 7 o'clock. So, hopefully everybody makes their way out. I'll be at... Tonight, I will be out at Speaking Rock at the main bar, hanging out and getting you ready to go for Thursday night football. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be signing people up to go see the Dallas Cowboys. We'll give away some UTEP tickets in the process. We're going to have a good time today out at the Rock. So excited about it. And a good game. It's a very good game. Yeah, Green Bay and Minnesota is... Green Bay and Detroit is fantastic.
You going to try and see both the game and catch some of the women's game? Or is that just out of the question for
It's going to be tough tonight. I got to be at the Plex. Joel's got a doubleheader baseball game that starts tonight. So we're playing
baseball in December.
14U winter ball out at the sports park. So heading out. It's going to be a busy weekend for me for baseball. We got tonight at the park. We're at Veterans in Northeast tomorrow for a doubleheader for the Toys for Tots tournament. So lots and lots of winter baseball buzz coming up this weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, now, with over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. In fact, with their Pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. And they've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. In fact, I'm looking at tonight's game, and I'm going to give you one tip, okay? One tip that you really are going to want to look at, and that is Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. And I will take Jordan Love higher than 253.5 passing yards. Right, because it's going to be Detroit's going to score a lot of points, and Green Bay's going to have to throw the ball a lot. So I'm going 253.5 higher than that for Jordan Love. That's right. This season, Underdog will be running a special promo or bonus almost every single day, like profit boosts. Pump up your winnings in just a tap when you apply the boost to eligible entries. Discounts. You'll get adjusted projections on certain player stats to give you a better shot at a big W. Free picks. They're basically a sure thing. A player just has to get higher than half a yard for that pick to win. Plus, all new users get a free pick. Download the app, sign up with promo code KLAQ, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code KLAQ. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Thank you, Cappy.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. The AfterBuzz from Tuesday is up. We'll have a new AfterBuzz on the way for you. Yeah, we're doing an AfterBuzz today, aren't we? And I guess the Buzz on Demand from yesterday it has also been posted, so check all of that out. We're sorry for any delays. Real quick, somebody called to check on your health. Nico.
Good morning show. This is J-Man from Las Cruces.
J-Man.
Just calling to check in and see how Nico is doing. I know he wasn't on yesterday. And Tuesday's AfterBuzz and Wednesday's BAM still aren't up, so just thought I'd see if everything was all right.
I really do appreciate it. Honestly, I was laid up in bed.
While waiting, what's up, Mo Show? It's ODG. Podcast publish alert. Alert.
Yeah, well, the podcasts are up, but... Yeah, my hernia is just getting worse and worse, and I slept on it wrong, so it's stuck wherever it slides into. It slid there and it got stuck, and I had the worst pain all day yesterday. So I'm going to get a surgery soon, and we'll fix it all up.
All right. Yeah. Joanna, anything you want to mention before we wrap things up here?
Happy Krampusnacht. Krampusnacht.
When is the thing you're judging?
Next Saturday, the 14th at the El Paso County Coliseum. It's Krampus Fest, brought to you by Kaleidoscope Art Market. I'll be judging this year.
We should participate. I'll dress up as Krampus.
I'll do Black Peter.
And you can be Black Peter. Okay. Have a great one, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Talk to you then. So long.
What did I miss?
Oh, I can't believe I missed it.
Did you miss the Buzz Adams Morning Show today?
I missed everything.
Just use the KLAQ mobile app. That way you can listen to Buzz on demand.